Hey YouTubers, I'm going to do a little update on the Turbo Blazer project. Still trying to get the transmission out of it to rebuild it. Still haven't identified 100% what went out or what went wrong. I wanted to let everybody know that I went ahead and ordered a PTC converter spec to my turbo build. I do believe this is like their entry-level converter. It's not the like 1,000, 1,500 plus guaranteed super expensive converter. This one was around $650 shipped, but there was a backlog or a lead time on construction, so I had to wait about between 9 and 10 weeks, I think it was, to get this converter in. Of course, it's got my name on it. It's got all these numbers that I don't know what it means. So hopefully it's going to work for me. Let's see what it looks like. Ooh, cool. Packing material. Stuff out of the way. Torque converter installation. Okay. Oh, we got stickers. I don't really put stickers on my vehicles anymore, not since I was a kid. But these are pretty nice stickers. I might have to find something to do with these or donate them to a kid at the car show or something. Ooh, this is cool. Looks like they go ahead and give you brand new bolts. That's interesting. Apparently this converter has the tapped holes for bolts, and they are metric. Now, just a word of education here. This is made specifically for the, say, for example, Turbo 400 to the LS engine. So it has the length, the snout on it is longer. So you don't have to buy any of those adapters or little rings to extend to your crankshaft, which is kind of cool. It's connected to this bottom piece down here, but let me turn it a little bit. Not 100% prepared. One thing I noticed that I didn't know was going to be like this is it's a single pattern, or it only comes with one bolt pattern for the mounting to your flex plate. Part of the information I gave when I ordered the converter was the SFI flex plate I have. I do believe, I'm pretty sure that flex plate has a dual bolt pattern on it, but the trick will be verifying that the pattern that's on this new converter matches up with one of those two patterns on my flex plate without drilling it out or elongating any holes. Keep my fingers crossed on that, because I really don't want to have to do that. But it's finally in. It's a 10, I believe it was a 10 inch. 10 inch. I do not know, most people when they have torque converters, they'll say it's a 3,000, 35, 4,000, 45, whatever. I couldn't get any direct answers from PTC what this converter is actually. I don't know how you'd advertise a converter without knowing what it's going to stall in my specific application, and I gave them every single detail you could possibly factor in when creating this torque converter for my combo. And I told them I would like to be able to come off, easily and repeatedly be able to come off my transbrake somewhere between 35 and 4,000 RPMs. And they just kept saying, well, we're going to have to make the torque converter tight so it doesn't blow through the power in the top end. So in order for me to get a 4,000 RPM launch and still couple efficiently up top is the reason why I was forced to go to a transbrake, which I wasn't going to do in the first place. But if you listen to their logic, it really makes a lot of sense, because this torque converter is going to be efficient enough and tight enough for street driving, but being able to use the transbrake to, I call it stretching, to get the RPM and the boost that I need to launch, that's only going to be used when I'm racing. When I'm not on the transbrake, basically forcing the converter to provide the stall I need, it's going to be a super tight, efficient converter that's going to give me good results for street driving and highway. So I understand, and because my Blazer currently has a 273 ring and pinion, nobody freak out because I made it that way on purpose. He's basically, what I've been told is, if I'm going to race 8th mile with this converter, they want me to run the ring and pinion I have now and only use first and second gear. But if I want to start racing quarter mile with this converter they've built for me, they're recommending I go to a 373 ring and pinion so that I can get more out of a third gear in the quarter mile. So, I don't know. I mean, it makes sense, but I'm just trying to, look at my starting line ratios and all that different stuff that they factor and calculate. So they're just saying, with this build, my 273 to 3.27 rear gear ratios, run the 8th mile, only use first and second gear like a power glide. But if I want to race a quarter mile and get the most out of it, they feel I'm going to need a 373 gear to get into third gear and to use it efficiently. Okay guys, I went ahead and cut the tape and fought out the staples off camera because nobody wants to see me hurt myself. Because, that kind of stuff happens all the time. I've seen it. It can be horrible, horrible. Got plenty of packing stuff. Oh, this is like a box of, okay. So you got your instructions. Now this is the billet aluminum transbrake that Jegs sells under their name, that's made by TSI. So, looks like it comes with your release springs for your hub. Okay, these are going to be all the bolts for the valve body. Pressure for your pump. There's your pass-through for your wiring. Looks like it's got the one ceramic ball for your valve body when you put it in. It's got some like electrical connectors, one for the connecting to your pass-through for your wiring, and then it looks like probably a ground to one of your bolts that screw into your valve body. Okay. Let's see. Maybe we will get to see me hurt myself today. That'd be cool. Let's see, is this unwrappable? Ah. So there's your your solenoid, your release solenoid. Now this is an internal solenoid, which was one of the reasons why I went with this kit, and I'll tell you why. I have a pretty close clearance in the area of the way my downpipe is routed inside the frame and then back to the rear end. There's not a whole bunch of room right there where your modulator valve would go. So I selected a transbrake that's going to put all that inside the pan, so I don't have to worry about overheating it with my downpipe. So this will all go inside this bag, that aluminum blank, or well, I don't know what you'd call that off the top of my head, but this is what you'll seal a hole with, where your factory modulator valve would go. Let me see here. Get this thing out of here. And there it is. That's crazy. There's your manual valve for your reverse pattern, because this is going to be a reverse, manual pattern. And you know, it was just kind of an upgrade that I toiled with. I didn't know if I wanted to spend that much money. But in order for the vehicle to ever be as quick as I hope for it to be, it's going to have a transbrake, or it's always going to be less than it could be, if that makes any sense. So anyway, I just wanted to give a quick update on some of the parts that came in. We're going to go back through the Turbo 400, find out what failed. Right now, following some of the big professional builders that I've contacted, the general consensus is either the torque converter has died, it broke internally, or I could have sheared off the teeth from the main input shaft to the front hub or forward hub assembly. That's the general consensus based on my valve body pressures that I sent to them, pictures of the stuff that was in the pan, all the symptoms of the Turbo 400 failure. You know, basically until I get it out and get it tore apart, we're not going to know for sure what went wrong. And even I'm just hoping it's something obvious. You want everything to be identifiable when something breaks like that and loses all gears, and you're just kind of scratching your head like, I'm not making very much power. Why is this thing broken? So anyway, that's where we're at. I'm out here today sweating to the oldies, trying to get this transmission out in this 95 plus degree temperature. Anyway, you guys, if you have any questions or if you have any comments and you've run this setup before, again, it's the Jegs brand, house brand transbrake made by TSI. A lot of people have run them and nobody had anything bad to say. PTC speaks for itself. I'm expecting that to be a huge upgrade over the torque converter I had before, and hopefully we'll be able to get this thing running soon so we can try to find out how fast it can be. I appreciate it. You guys, please like, subscribe, and share.